Joel, thank you so much for joining me. First of all, fantastic job on this film. Now, it's crazy because mob stories, it's so hard to reinvent the wheel. And a lot of the action in this story takes place off camera, but the characters in this are so rich, and I love that. First of all, talk to me. Who is Michael? And talk to me about the relationship between Michael and Peter.
Yeah, so, I think the reason that you feel that way about that film is because the director, Jeremy Guez, is just, he's one of these great new up-and-coming directors that, this is his second film, but, he's a real auteur. He wrote the script, and he's also a guy that, grew up in a rough environment. He understands this world. So you're going to find a guy like that is going to be much less likely to want to glorify, to make it seem, something to aspire to be a part of this world, to make these kind of life choices. And, so that's why, this movie is really focused about these characters and what they're going through. And at the heart of this movie, even though, you have this mob world as a backdrop and as a dramatic accelerant of the film, it really is like a little family drama, a drama between two brothers. And really, even though that, from the outside, Michael, who I play, seems like, this ice cold gangster, bordering on a sociopath, pretty close bordering on a sociopath, but all along the film, his actions are very much fueled of just wanting acceptance of his it's actually his cousin, but they're sort of they've become like brothers. In Michael's eyes, they're definitely brothers, and his actions are really fueled by that. And so, he's an ice cold gangster, very capable, born into this world, but all he needs is a hug.
Now, you know what? One thing that I really like about this film too is we get to touch on and see the past of the upbringing of Michael, played by the father, Ryan Phillippe. Can you talk to me about how much of the upbringing of Michael and Peter kind of dictate the circumstances in life currently?
Of course, so that it's this film is based on a great novel by Pete Drexler, City of Brotherly Love, and and the book and the film plays in these two timelines where you get the fathers of these the fathers of Michael and Peter, their brothers, and the sons are basically reliving their father's fate, and what happened between the fathers completely colors what the lives of their sons is and the drama that takes place in the movie between them.
I got to ask you, because look, I'm familiar with your work. I'm a huge fan of your work, from Hannah, Suicide Squad. I love it all. But this is almost, it was crazy watching you in this, because I almost forgot I was watching you, and I see your character, Michael, just start coming unhinged almost every single scene that we see him in. Can you talk to me about just preparing for that role and the places that you had to go to take that character?
Yeah, I had to go back to my upbringing. Yeah, it was a little scary jumping into this, because I came into this on pretty short notice, and reading it, it's like, this is a dream role. It really is to me, it was a dream role, but a difficult dream role, and really the movie kind of hinges on that performance is believable, and because he really is the prime mover of the story. So it was something that I also like doing a Philly accent on such short notice. I was a little nervous about that too, but I just clicked with Jeremy, the director. We were talking about it, and I also realized that I found this guy. I found Peter like in my upbringing. It was it was this one particular guy that I grew up with that was he ended up being a full-time gangster, and he was this kind of sensitive, but also this he was definitely a bully and was incredibly mean to people. And I think he was a sociopath, but he was also incredibly charming and just, he could really like draw people in. So I based my whole performance off of him. And it was funny how it just clicked in like really fast. It clicked. And so I started improvising, like on the first day, on the first take, I actually found the guy when I realized who it was, and then with the costume fitting, and then I sort of started thinking about how that guy was moving and how he related physically to people, and then so on the first day, on the first take, I knew where I was going with it, So I got loose really quickly, much quicker than I usually do. It usually takes a few scenes to sort of find the character, but here I found it right away, and I just started playing. And then of course I'm playing opposite Matthias Schoenhardt, who I think is one of the great actors of our generation, and he's just there and just feeding and playing. So we found this really fun vibe that neither of us are these kind of like method actors where we demand everyone in our surroundings to behave a certain way around us. But we really like got into these characters and in this world, and we were just playing with it the whole time, and on and off camera. So we found this rhythm where it felt seamless when the cameras were rolling and when we were off, and so it just worked. It really worked. It was a short shoot, but fuck, it was fun.
Honestly, when I remember watching you in that scene with the horse tranquilizer. And I honestly, that was the time where I was like, man, every time you come on screen, I just have no idea what you're going to do next. It was insane. It was watching that. But you hit it right on the head about Matthias as well. Every single time you guys are on screen together, I mean, throughout the whole movie, your guys' game is just right there. You're so into it, and I love seeing you guys in scenes together. But talk to me about Matthias playing Peter. What did he bring to that role that may not necessarily have been on the page?
Yeah, he has so first of all, as a person, Matthias, he portrays himself as a philosopher, in many ways, but he's a fucking lunatic. Let's not, he's an absolute lunatic, I love this guy, he's just one. He's got so much depth in his performance, and it's just there's layers there and presence, and then he's also a little crazy, but he's crazy in a fun way. So he's also very unpredictable, and but he's also very present with you. You have these guys that are, there's some actors that are more like performative actors. They give a performance that might be interesting to watch, but it's not so fun to play with because they're doing it on their own, right? They're not really affected by you or their surrounding. They've made up their way of how they think the scene is going to be, and then they perform it. See, that's to me, that's not like real acting. It's when you're together with someone and you're affected, and together you build this concentration that makes it feel like you're like this is a different reality, and it's and the beauty of it, and it comes from theater, so it's like, and on theater it's easier to build that because you're together from so much longer, but where you get affected by each other, and each choice is, it's like you become 50% of each other. You're not every new meeting, every new actor that comes into play, you become a different person because you're 50% of the connection with that person. And so Matthias is really that kind of old school European style actor that he's very, very, very present and there, and he has his crazy, but he's with you with the crazy.
This is why I love talking to you, because I feel like I get such an insight into the process of acting that I usually don't get from anybody else. So thank you so much for that. Last question I have for you, though, is your director, Jeremy. I can't say his name properly. I know that it's
Jeremy.
It's Jeremy. Yeah, I can't say it
He
properly.
goes by Jeremy in English. Jeremy Guez.
Okay, great. He's phenomenal. I love the choice that he made by not showing a lot of the mobster type of action and keeping it focused on the characters. Can you talk to me about the collaboration process with him? Because I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just has a very elevated taste. So he knows in a situation he knows exactly what he wants. And if he's presented with something new, he knows very quickly if he likes it or not. And he, he has a sensibility, and also there's a very strong visual, film is a visual medium, and he's absolutely a director that can tell a story with images as well. And, he knows what kind of DP, him and his DP, their relationship was, very, very good. And so he's able to find, beauty in these images and in these characters that makes it compelling. And, but I found it, for us, the way that he would talk about the characters and, what he would like, what he would sort of push us towards, it was all things and choices that made it more interesting, that gave it more depth. And just a very calm and confident artist that, it was really, really fun. It was really, really fun working with him. I can't wait to do it again.
Well, Joe, thank you for your time. Every single time I talk to you, it's about a project that's completely new and it's a new side of you. And I love that you're challenging yourself with that stuff, man. Amazing job on this film. As always, man. I love talking to you. Thanks, Joel.
Oh, thanks so much, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you too.